All right, y'all. Well, I know that you probably have a super busy Monday ahead of you, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and share. I have a presentation for you guys. It's just going to kind of be a little bit more of a visual of what the process is going to look like. But before we jump into Utility Connect and just everything that we do, first, I want to know a little bit more about your current process when it comes to closing with buyers when you guys are, approaching that time to connect home services and they start asking questions about utilities. What are you doing currently? Or what was your previous process?
I usually connect my client by giving the contact info for them to transfer utilities. And then my non English speaking clients, I have to like sit there and help them call.
Oh, yep. I understand. And that takes probably quite a bit of your time, huh? Okay, okay. Well, that is definitely something I've heard from a lot of different agents, especially if you're servicing multiple different communities. They're going to have different levels of understanding and comfortability with the process, especially if you work with newer home buyers. There's a lot of hand holding there. Does anybody else want to share kind of what their process looks like before we jump into how we're going to change it?
Yeah, similar to Emily, I have a list of the different utility providers in the different places, and it's just kind of like, here you go. Like, let me know if you have any questions.
Yep, that's definitely how it goes. I've
Oh,
heard that a lot.
yeah, our seller's disclosure notice here in Texas lists everything. So, and typically the sellers are pretty good about listing who they're currently using. Um, that's not always the case. And I've used Utility Connect before, with a lot of my clients through partnerships with different brokerages. So, I am familiar with your process, and it definitely helps a lot. So,
No. Well, thank you so much. Well, you just made this so much easier. But yeah, that's definitely true. We want to be able to take that process off of your plate because there's already a lot that you have to do throughout the entire process. All of the compliance that you guys have to go through, all of the knowledge that you guys have because you're the expert. You're the trusted advisor throughout the entirety of the home buying process. But when it comes to little things like utilities and answering questions, sometimes you may even have clients that are asking like what's the best internet provider in my area or is this community wired for ADT or anything else that they could potentially ask you about services within the home, right? And that's, again, you're the trusted advisor, but that's not the money making part of your process. That's not the number one reason that you're there in that home buying process with that client. So we just want to make that process easier for everyone involved instead of you being the person that has to spearhead and for example having to help them take those calls, having to walk them through the entirety of that process. We go ahead and we take that and we provide one dedicated agent to carry them through that process, so they're not being bounced around from person to person trying to figure out what the next step is. They have one person that organizes everything for them. So a little bit of context on us. I know I said earlier that we are headquartered in Dallas, Texas, so that's where our entire team is located. So all of your clients would be talking to, one of our home service experts here in Texas, and we service the entire United States. So you don't have to worry about whatever service area that you're in. There's always going to be coverage there. There will be someone who understands who the providers are in that area, how things work, especially if there's unique little details. You can trust that there's somebody that is familiar with that area within our staff. We were established in 2013, so we've been around for a while. We've been doing this for a little while, and it's definitely kind of our bread and butter. It's our pleasure to help clients through this process. And if you've had a chance to look us up, or if you've had a chance to use our service before, then you know that there's a ton of great reviews. Clients are raving about how helpful this service is. If you look at us on Google, we've got 13,000 reviews with a 5-star rating, and we have an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau, and we are PCI compliant. So you'll see all the little shields on our website to see all the different, boxes we check in terms of making sure that clients are taken care of, their information is protected, and they have a good experience because we know how difficult it is. So just a little bit of context on that. The benefits that your clients get, because that is going to be number one, especially when it comes to real estate. Your reputation is number one. That's how you're building your business. So, what are your clients getting out of this? It's a completely free service, so you never have to worry about any cost for them. There's no subscription fee or anything like that, and we don't make money off of the clients in that way. It also saves them a lot of time. So instead of them having to figure out what the next steps are, what the different service providers they have to connect with are, what is even available in their area, we have everything put together for them. So it saves them time in that respect, and it also saves you time because you're not having to put that together either. We also get them the best discounts. So we're going to always look for the best possible rates and promotions. And sometimes we even get exclusive rates and promotions depending on what service provider they're looking for. We can actually advocate for lower costs for them. So it's a really nice experience in that respect to save money as well. And then again, they work with that one dedicated person. So they're not being bounced around. They've got one person that's familiar with their experience, especially if they're building rapport, they're telling stories, they're having a really enjoyable experience. They're not going to lose that by having to talk to a different person the next time that they call. And then this can help them at any time. So, anytime through the home buying process and even after, if they want to revisit some services that, maybe they put on the back burner, maybe something that they had questions on after they've fully moved in, they can always reach out to our team and get that assistance from the same person that helped them out. So, it really is personalized in that way. And so, what services do we directly connect? That's going to be the biggest question that you guys get from your clients because our name is Utility Connect. So, you would think that that's pretty self explanatory, but it's important that your client knows that we take care of all home services. So, it's not just utilities. That is part of our process where we make sure they know who those providers are. We make sure they know exactly how to get in touch with them in the most direct way. And then we'll guide them through the process. But I want to be really clear on the utilities process because I think this is the small part that everybody trips up on just a little bit. So, with the utilities, the only reason that we're not directly connecting these utilities fully is because the one component that is needed from the client is their direct consent. So we can take them right up to that finish line, but there's no replacement for their direct consent, especially because we like doing everything above board in compliance with state regulations, which are going to require their consent because, just like no one can set up a water account in your name without your permission, that's kind of how we go about that process. So again, they're still getting the guidance, they're still getting support. We take them exactly where they need to be, but they're the ones that have the final say. So again, they'll know, if there's any deposits that are required, they'll be able to give their direct consent. They'll be able to establish their account directly and they have support the entire time. But I wanted to be really clear on that because one of the biggest points of feedback that we get, especially if an agent says something like, oh, they're going to directly set up your water, and then we let them know, hey, your consent is going to be required. Sometimes clients might fall under the impression that, oh, I thought you were just going to do everything for me. But remember that there's that consent piece that's required. But we're taking the client through the entire process so they still have a great experience. They still have all that support that they need, but it's not something that we're going to do without their involvement, if that makes sense. So just wanted to be really clear on that. But all the other home services, we can directly connect for them. Of course, we're still going to be gaining their consent over the phone. We want to make sure we're taking care of the services that they want to actually establish in their home. But it's a lot easier because we can set up the accounts. None of those other services are quite as regulated as the utilities are. So we'll take them through, their internet, their TV, maybe phone service if they're interested in seeing what discounts we can provide on that. For our agents in Texas, they actually do allow us to directly connect their electric service in deregulated areas. So that will be something we can directly connect and actually educate the client on. So it's not just about, hey, let's go ahead and set up your services. We also take the time to create informed buyers out of this process. We want them to know, okay, here's what's involved. Here is how much it's going to cost. Here's what you're actually going to get out of this service. And here's how to save money and not be fooled by service providers who try to upsell you or oversell you when you really just need something more basic that just checks the box on what you're needing. So you don't need the top tier internet plan if you're like a newlywed couple that does not work from home. You just use it for Netflix. You're not going to need the top tier internet program. Whereas vice versa, if you are someone who works from home and you're using a internet plan that cuts out often and it doesn't really get the job done for you, we'll be able to explain what you're actually going to need in order to ensure that you can work from home without interruptions. So again, not just selling services, but actually educating clients on what these services entail and what providers are going to be able to support what they need. We also will answer questions about home protection, home warranty, insurance, any ways that we can help them save money in a program like that, we're going to absolutely do that. And then if they need help with movers as well, we're definitely going to be able to take care of that too. So if they want to see if they can save money, get quotes for different providers, we can absolutely provide that for them so that they're being able to make the choice for their home. They're able to choose what provider they actually want to service a particular service. Now, with their experience, I want you guys to know how we actually get in touch with them. So, first, they're always going to get a welcome email as a normal part of the process. We start reaching out to them 2 weeks prior to closing. So, first, we'll introduce ourselves. And at that 2 week mark prior to closing, we actually always suggest you have a conversation with them beforehand because you want to be able to let them know that this is an expected part of the process. So, this is something that they can count on. 2 weeks prior to closing, someone is going to first introduce themselves, give all the contact information for who we are and why we're reaching out. And then the clients will be able to either give us a call if they're looking for faster assistance, or they'll know that we're going to reach out to them shortly. And everything is going to be branded to the brokerage. So I know this image doesn't really show it that well, but it will actually say My Real Estate Co. And then it'll actually have your name, your photo, your contact information at the bottom. You're going to receive an account that you can fully customize. So you'll be able to put any logos or anything that you would like there. That way they know this is part of your process. And then the last two communications they'll receive throughout this process is going to be a list of the service providers we've directly connected. So they'll have a synopsis that has account numbers, provider information, installation dates. And if they need to make any changes prior to the installation date, we actually handle all of that. So again, if your client ever says, oh, well, I actually wanted to move it back to this day, or, oh, actually, I don't know if I want that service anymore. I think I want to cancel it. Or any changes that they might want to make, they don't have to call these individual providers. They can actually just get in touch with us directly. And then the last email they're going to get is that synopsis of their utility providers. They'll have all of the information regarding who the provider is, how to get in touch with them. They can enroll directly through these emails because we'll have the link to their direct enrollment portals. And it'll also have some additional information. Again, if there's any deposit or anything like that, they have a copy of this. And then we also will answer any questions that they might have. So we have a utilities research team where they're the pros when it comes to this. They'll make sure the client has everything they need. And then again, we'll answer those questions over the phone if they need any additional support. So typically, this process is really going to look like a couple of emails, a couple of text messages, one of them being to remind them to ensure that their services are connected on time. And a phone call that is about 20 to 30 minutes. I say all that to say, if you ever have a client who is saying, "Hey, I don't know if I want to use this service," or "Hey, they've called me a couple times, but I don't know about this service," or anything like that, I want you guys to know that we do limit our communications because we never want a client to feel overwhelmed or spammed. But the best way is for either you or a client to let us know if, for any reason a client doesn't want to be contacted. Because the way that we're receiving this client information, we'll see a little later in the presentation, but we're automatically receiving these details from Loft 47. So you'll get a text message and an email anytime we receive a client of yours. So you'll know, you'll be in the loop. But also, if the client changes their mind part of the way through, or maybe you're working with an investor and you don't think they're going to use the program, you are always more than welcome to send us a quick text back or send us an email and the client as well to let us know if they don't want to use the program for any reason. And so now what's in it for you? This is one of my favorite parts. So, first, it's also free for you. So, you never have to worry about, again, any kind of subscription fee. You don't have to pay anything. There's not any hidden costs or anything like that. But you're probably wondering, okay, if it's free for my client and it's free for me, how are you guys getting paid? We are compensated by home service providers directly. So that's how we fund our program. That's how we also fund commission revenue for you, which I'm going to talk to you guys about that in a little bit. But that's also how we keep it free. So you don't have to worry about anything like that. Now, when you have an account, basically the way that it works is when we receive a transaction from you through Law 47, if you already have an account, then that client is already going to be connected with you. If you don't already have an account, the cool part is it's actually going to automatically create an account for you. So there's not a whole lot of legwork or lift that you're going to have to do in order to get your account set up, but you will have access to it so that you can customize it and, add your photo and, update any logos or your phone number or anything else that you want to be in there. You'll be able to make those changes. And then you'll get a customized website. So the website is going to tell clients what services we directly connect. It's got a client submission portal on there. So if you, for any reason, have a client that doesn't come through Loft 47, or maybe you reconnect with an old home buyer that, they closed with you a year or two ago, but now they're asking questions about home service providers again, you can actually manually submit clients as well. And if you're moving at all and you want to see how the service works, then you can also submit yourself. So that's a pretty cool feature of that website. And it also has our phone number just in case if either you or a client needs to know the phone number to get in touch with us directly and you just don't happen to have it on hand, it will be on that website. And you'll also be able to access your dashboard. So the dashboard is where you get transparency on the clients that have used the service, what services they set up, and your commission revenue. Now, I know that I've thrown a lot of information at you guys so far. So I want to just pause really quick and see, do you guys have any questions so far on what you get and what the client gets, what the program entails, just before we kind of dive deeper into commission?
Yep, there was one question. Is there like a map of service areas or like a zip code where they can check and see if there's coverage for the clients at that location?
Yeah, so we actually have our own proprietary dashboard where we can see all the service providers in a given area. So when we receive your client's information from Law 47, or even if you have a quick question like, hey, what's available in this area just before I show this house to this client, for example, you can reach out to one of our team members and we'll actually be able to pull up all the service providers that are available there for a given service. So you just let us know what you're looking for and we can pull that information for you. I hope that
Sure.
answers the
Yep,
question.
thank you.
Of course. Any other questions, guys? Okay. That silence means I'm doing my job. All right. So, again, I know that was a ton of information, but what we basically covered so far is what the client gets. They get a free program, they get all that comprehensive support through the closing process and the process of connecting home services. You get total transparency on this. You'll know where your clients are in the process. You'll know when we receive a client. You'll be able to opt clients out if you ever want to, and you'll know exactly what the process looks like that they're going through. You'll know they're also not being over communicated with. So we're not spamming your clients. We're doing everything basically as an extension of your service. We want it to be respectful. We want it to be helpful. We want it to be a very welcome part of your process that also makes you look good. Like, hey, I thought of everything. I already have a resource in place when we do get to the point where we want to start connecting home services. And so if for any reason you guys want to pull up your account right now, I actually have this QR code here. And there's a small link here, which I'm going to make sure that both Holly and Ryan have this. Or sorry, is it Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I was thinking of your last name. So Kyle, and then is it Rise?
Reese.
Reese. Okay. I am so sorry.
That's okay.
But yes, I'll make sure that you guys have a copy of this presentation. That way, if for any reason, you guys want to look up your account, you happen to lose that link or anything like that, you'll have that QR code right here. And then there's a link there as well too. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have a few minutes and if you're viewing this presentation on your computer, then you'll be able to just scan it really quick with your phone. I'll give you another couple seconds if you guys want to check it out. Because this is going to be one of the fastest ways you can pull up your account. You'll get an email of all of your account details because it's going to ask you for your email address. And it's going to be connected to the email address that you have Law 47 set up with. So you'll be able to get all of your account details forwarded to your email, and then you'll be able to access your website, your dashboard, anything that you guys need to maintain this account moving forward. And so I wanted to show you guys exactly what that's going to look like. So I know we talked about your branded website. So this is what it's going to look like for you. You'll have your branding up here with your photo, your name, It'll have the phone number for My Real Estate Co. because we give you guys a white labeled phone number. That's going to be the phone number that anytime a client calls, we know that it's a client of yours. And then again, it'll tell clients a little bit more about what we do. It'll have some other fun features on there. So I highly recommend you check out your Utility Connect website. That way you can see all the resources available there. And this is a little snippet of what your dashboard is going to look like. So, the most important features of the dashboard are going to be, of course, taking a look at that commission revenue, taking a look at your client experience, and you'll be able to see some analytics as well too. So, if you just want to see how you've been performing over time, especially the more clients that you have, the more data that you're going to have to see what services are most important to your clients, where are their priorities during closing. You'll be able to actually pull that information from here. So, it's pretty cool. I highly recommend you check it out. You can't break it. So just go in, check out all the different resources that are available. And if you ever have any questions about different sections of the dashboard or where to find something, we have a partner support team that is readily available to take your questions, guide you through this process. They can help you redeem commission, whatever you may need help with. We are more than happy to help. And so the best part is that we also have marketing materials already available for you. So you may already be thinking like, okay, how am I going to introduce this to my client? What exactly am I going to tell them? So we already have flyers put together for you. We also have email templates. So if you guys would ever like a template for an email or a text message or anything like that, you'll be able to review all that here. You can give us a call, let us know what you're looking for, and we'll make sure that you have all those materials. But these are also connected to your website. So that's why I definitely check it out. Start clicking on things. That way you can see what is available. It is going to be at the bottom of your website under PDF 1 and PDF 2. There's also some resources in the dashboard itself. And then, of course, if you need anything else, or maybe you are looking for something that is not readily available on your website, we can custom create materials for you as well. So don't hesitate to ask. And this is honestly my favorite part, which is the commission. So, how is that generated? How do you guys earn that? You'll receive 15% commission on any of the services that we directly connect for your clients. So it is going to vary from client to client. It's a one time payment per service per client. So 15% of the value of anything that we're directly connecting for your clients. Here are all the different services that you get those that commission revenue off of. So anytime we connect their entertainment services, their internet or their TV or phone, home security, home warranty, if they get movers, if they get an insurance quote. Because again, especially when it comes to the home warranty, the movers, and the insurance, these are actually non obligatory quotes. So, one, everything is optional for the client. It's all optional and customizable depending on what they're looking for. But particularly when it comes to those higher ticket items, your warranty, your movers, your insurance, honestly, even your home security, we want it to be an educational experience. We want to answer the questions they have so they know exactly what's involved in those services, how much they can expect to pay, what the benefits are actually going to be to them. So they can get those numbers without having to actually commit to anything. They don't have to commit to setting up these services. They don't have to commit to a plan or a package or anything like that, some kind of contract. They can actually see exactly what is going to be entailed in those services. You'll still be compensated for that experience, but they don't actually have to commit to it. So that is really nice. And then, of course, for those of you that are in Texas in our deregulated electric markets, you'll also be compensated anytime we connect their electricity. Now, anywhere that has deregulated utilities, we'll absolutely be able to help in directly connecting those services. All that the regulation really means is that they have the ability to choose a provider or not. So, for example, in like West Virginia or Illinois, there's going to be designated providers depending on where their service area is. There's not really going to be a lot of choices when it comes to who services your electric, your gas, your water, who is going to take care of the waste management. It's typically going to be one designated provider. But here in Texas, we have deregulated areas where there's multiple electric providers and they're basically competing for market share. So they have to, have competitive pricing or have something that is going to be more beneficial than the next provider. And then your client has this entire network that they can choose from, but that can be somewhat overwhelming. So we help the client navigate through that process, determine what provider is going to be best for them, and then we can directly connect that service. So any area where, again, they have choices, we'll be able to help out with that. And then you'll get paid, of course. And we pay out our commission via direct deposit. So once you have an opportunity to get into your Utility Connect dashboard, you're going to see a payments section that is going to tell you about the commission you generated so far, how much is available for you to redeem, and then you'll have the ability to set up your direct deposit details in there and pay yourself out whenever you want. We'll always be able to help out, especially if it's your first time redeeming commission through this program. That way you'll always have support through that process. You don't have to worry about trying to figure it out on your own, especially if it seems a little bit overtly complicated or anything like that. Like it's not clear there. We want to help guide you through that process. So don't hesitate to reach out to us. I'll make sure that you have all of our contact information. And just in case you had any questions about that integration, I wanted to share a little bit more about that integration with you. So again, we're going to automatically receive your client's information 2 weeks prior to closing. If you already have an account with us, which taking a look, I saw a few of you do, it'll already be branded to My Real Estate Co. And you'll always get a notification whenever we receive one of your clients, and your clients will automatically be tied to you. If you don't have an account with us, or especially as you guys continue to grow as a brokerage, you guys are going to automatically be provided with an account, and then everything will be connected from there. And again, once you access your website and your dashboard, you'll have the ability to customize your account and, again, add your photo, add your phone number, add whatever might be missing there, and really make it yours as an extension of your service. And when you do receive that courtesy notification that we've gotten your client details, you actually have a 24-hour window. So if for any reason, again, we happen to receive one of your investors, or if we, receive a client that doesn't necessarily want assistance, you have 24 hours to opt them out directly. So you can just send us a text back or send us a quick email and let us know that that particular client does not need assistance. Again, I know that's a ton of info. Any questions about everything that we reviewed so far? The commission, the benefits to you as an agent, your website, your dashboard, and this Loft 47 integration? Okay. No questions means that I have given you more than enough information. But again, if you guys happen to think of anything later, I am going to share my contact details. I do believe that's actually going to be on the next page. So quick best practices. Again, you always want to make sure you're letting your clients know about our service prior to us actually reaching out. The last thing we want to do is catch them off guard, because then they might be like, who are you? What is this? My agent didn't tell me about this. How do I know that you guys are legitimate? Why do you have my name? You don't want them to have that experience. You want them to know that this is an extension of your services. So again, just letting them know. Some of these other points are also about checking out your website, making sure that you have it bookmarked so you have quick access to that in your dashboard, updating your headshot, making sure that all your contact info is up to date. Just really make it yours. And then, of course, if you need any help, our email is right here, but I'm going to actually take you to this page because I want you to have all of our details. So if you want to take a quick screenshot of this page, or again, I'm going to share this with Kyle and with Holly at the end of this presentation. So they'll have our phone numbers, our email addresses. Both myself and Nicole and the entirety of our partner support team is readily available to assist you. So call us, email us, let us know what you need. We want you to be comfortable using this program. But I know that was a lot. I promise in practice, it's actually a lot more streamlined, a lot easier to incorporate. But I just wanted you guys to have an understanding of all the different facets. So again, what is the client receiving? What kind of communications are they receiving? What does it actually look like? What does my website look like? What does my dashboard look like? It's a little bit of, understanding everything at the beginning, but again, in practice, it's actually going to be a lot more smooth. So I'm really excited for you guys. We are so happy to support your brokerage in this way, and I can't wait to see you guys continue to grow. So again, any questions, comments? If you guys also want to talk about what your experience has been like so far, I love hearing, especially from agents who have used us before. They're going to have a little bit more, I guess they're a little bit more like you have more trust in them than you would have in me, right? Because you work with them every day. So yeah, feel free to share.
Thank you so much for coming.
Of course. I know I was talking at you guys a million miles a minute, so I'm sorry. But
Nope, that's great.
So if we use the lookup and it says it's going to email us, but we don't get an email, then we should click the create a new account button.
so with something like that, it might be because the email that you put in, was it the email that you know is tied to Law 47?
Yes, our brokerage email. Yes.
Okay. Let me double check really quickly and see. It may also be different too, because Holly, you're the broker, so it might be a little bit different. Let me see.
Anyone else look for their account or have any issues? I know the goal was to leave here today with everyone's account set up. So
And something else I can do for you as well too is I can make sure that you have a copy like of our current roster of everyone who is currently signed up, just so that you can see that information too. So I'm seeing a couple different ones for you. There is also an email that's Holly at hustlewithholly.com. So try that
it's an
and
old
see
one.
if it's
I don't have
oh,
access to that one.
oh, really? Okay. Let me get with Nicole because I know Nicole has all the details about this account. So it might be something that I'm not seeing on my end, but for everyone else, it should absolutely be the brokerage email. So I'm glad that you asked. Was anybody else having any issues
I'm
locating their account?
as well, and it says we found your account and we've sent you an email. So I'm looking for it and I don't see it. So I've got like 10 different email addresses. So I'm looking through all of
Mhm. No worries. Let's see.
them.
I also got a spam email from Brian, just so everyone knows.
He likes to spam people.
Okay. Oh, so yes, it is connected to the Holly at myrealestateco .com. So it is weird that you haven't gotten the email yet. It could also just be a little bit slow, but let me get some more information on that because it should be pretty fast. It should be instantaneous. So I am glad that you pointed this out. And then Robert, I'm going to check yours out. Yeah, so yours is the same, robert.rossi at myrealestateco.com. And also, I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Is it Rossi?
Yes, it's Robert Dot Rossi or Robert Rossi.
Robert.Rossi. Is
Okay.
that incorrect?
No,
Nope, that's right. It should be first out last.
yep, that's correct. For whatever reason, I have another one too, so I stand by.
No worries. And do check your spam just in case if it's especially if it's the first time you're getting an email from us, it may redirect that email. But once you take it out of spam, it shouldn't redirect them there anymore. But I'm still going to get with Nicole to make sure that you have a roster of everyone that's already connected with us. And then we'll double check with our IT team and make sure, like, hey, those emails need to be going out and going out fast. So if there's anything that's preventing them from going out, I really appreciate you guys for letting us know because we want to make sure any kinks are ironed out today, yesterday. And let me actually go back to that QR code just in case if any of you haven't had a chance to pull your account up, I want you to have access to that. So if you haven't had a chance to scan that, go ahead and scan it really quick and just make sure. And I know there is technically a landing page for utility connect accounts through My Real Estate Co. But because we have that automation in place with Loft 47, that's why we didn't share it here because we want to make sure that you guys are able to connect directly through that integration. So it's really good if, for any reason you haven't had an account created for you yet, like if we haven't gotten a transaction or anything like that, we'll be able to make sure that that is the best way to connect. But I'll also make sure that you guys have a link to that landing page just in case as like a fail safe. But again, we want to make sure that everything is connected nicely with Loft 47. That way it's hands free for you guys. We want to automatically get those details. That way it's one less thing on your list.
I was able to get into my account okay.
You got it? Nice. Okay. Well, I'm glad because again, it's supposed to work nicely and seamlessly like that, but I'll still look into your emails, especially Holly, Robert. I want to make sure it's just as easy for you guys to get into your accounts. Um, but Holly, again, I think because you're the broker, you might be able to also have insight into how the brokerage is doing in terms of using Utility Connect. So again, let me have Nicole look deeper into that and just make sure everything is functioning as it should.
Great.
All right, y'all. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your Monday, but it was such a pleasure to meet you guys. I will also take y'all up on that Fredericksburg offer. So let me make sure that, again, you guys have my details because that's been something I've been wanting to see so bad. But I'm super excited for you guys. I've seen a lot of agents have a lot of success with Utility Connect. I'm talking tons of happy clients, hundreds of dollars in commission, and that's what I want for you guys. So we'll always be here to help you out. But just in case, if you have any questions afterward, please take a little screen cap of our contact information here and do know that both Kyle and Holly will have this information. But thanks again, y'all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday.
And just quick update, I did get my Utility Connect thing, just popped up. So boom, one down.
I mean, boo, slow emails, but yes, I'm glad you got it.
And I dropped my phone number in the chat if you want to enter it. Just text me when you guys are heading this way and I'll be happy to connect.
Sweet. Let me make sure that I get that. Okay. Just going to really quickly take a snapshot of that. You're the best, Lindsay. I really appreciate you.
Listen, I do know that I live in a place everybody wants to come visit, so I try to accommodate, and it's really funny how many of our providers head this way for vacation.
Seriously? Well, but I mean, obviously, it's a beautiful place over there. Just from what I've seen, I can't wait until like I actually get there and I can experience it. But I've seen nothing but happy residents and happy visitors. So I'm really excited to be one of them.
That's exciting. Yeah, I found it in my 20s and I said, man, if I can afford to live here, I'm never moving.
That's the dream. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you. Lindsay, you will be hearing from me soon. And then Holly, you and me and Nicole, we're going to connect later on as well. But I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And
You as
until
well.
next time, bye, y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or anything top of mind before we go? All
Was
right.
anybody
Well,
able to not get in? I think it sounded like everybody got in.
great. Well, tomorrow, be sure to be on time for True Crime Tuesday. We're talking about Sandy's going to tell us the story of the real estate agent who murdered her husband and then wrote a children's book about grief before they found out she did it. So I can't wait to hear more, but I hope you all have an amazing day. When in doubt, reach out. Messages if you need us. We are here for you. We all started this morning with a blank slate at 0. So go out and talk to a buyer, a seller, or an agent today. Have a good one. Bye.